This episode of the podcast is brought to you by pokerbets.co.za. If you want to stand a chance to win this PlayStation 5, make sure to go follow the link below. It will also be in the description. And all you have to do is open up an account. You can deposit whatever you want into it, and you will stand a chance to win. So make sure to do that now. The winner will be picked at the end of October. So best of luck. Cheers.
When we were there now, we went on this we went on the segways. You know, that's the thing that you just like, and
The mall cop.
But
Full blood.
I'm getting one.
Yeah.
That thing changed my life. We went through the whole of Paris. I can't believe it.
Cameron Saaiman, ladies and gentlemen. Cameron Saaiman taking care of business. Wow. That look says it all.
Yeah. It's Engels.
Engels,
Engels,
go.
yeah, English.
Yeah,
English.
We'll try. I'll try my best.
We'll try your best.
Yeah.
Because you have a bunch of personalities. You have like
I do.
RadioRaps, Ernstige Noot.
Yes. Good. That's correct. And
Yeah.
I it's sometimes there's a bit of, I suppose we all do.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of people, when my character as just Jonathan, people also when they meet me, they're like, "Oh, so you're not quite the same." And I'm, well, it depends.
Yes.
There's about 70% of him in me.
Yeah.
But we all wear masks, you know.
Yeah.
When the guy that goes to the office is not necessarily in anybody's environment that goes to a meeting.
Yes.
Or
100%.
and you have to. It's how we adapt
Yeah.
in life. It's part of evolution. So,
Yeah.
like a lot of people are shocked when they see like, oh, do you read? Yes, I do.
Yes.
I do. What do you read? You probably read comics or no, I like philosophy.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's another thing. But I don't mind at all.
Yeah.
People call me Rikus, they call me Jonathan, some call me fuckhead or whatever.
Yeah.
I respond to all three
Yeah,
of
but
them.
it's so weird because it's almost with your type of, with a comedy, even with acting, it's like in anything else, if someone cuts you off at the robot, it's also, you're also gonna have another personality come out.
100%.
So
100%.
it's nothing different.
It's normal, and I literally, like I said before, I think it's part of surviving and adapting. You
Yes.
can't be one type of persona the whole time. I
Yeah.
mean, look at yourself. I mean, you have to be an animal in the ring.
Yeah.
Outside, you have to be, then you're this nice guy.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I told you the story of how we make the switch, right?
I can't remember.
It's, you can be all chilled, even in the cage. You know, sometimes Hennie and I've made that joke. It would be so funny to get on camera where the camera's panning to you, you're in the cage, and you're like,
Yeah. Look at this.
but we always, when coach tells me like it's time, then we go brain, heart, and balls.
Yes.
That's in line.
Yes.
We're ready to fight. So
Yeah.
it's always like, okay, switch is on.
Yeah.
Ready to murder. After the fight, you can have a beer with your opponent. So.
I've actually seen footage of myself when we do my one-man show, when we record it.
Yeah.
We beforehand, we talk to the technical team and we're like, talk. And then I'm like this and smiles. And then I put on my green hat.
Yes.
And as I look to the camera, I have an underbite. I have a whole different face expression. It's actually, I was like, just rewind quickly.
Yeah.
And then you can physically see it's like, yeah, Jack, now we'll do our best and put it on. And you're Jonathan. And
That
your
is
voice
sick.
changes and your accent changes. It's scary sometimes.
It's
And I found myself when I'm doing interviews or when we're discussing technical stuff, in terms of cuts of the show, whatever, or content, where I speak about Jonathan as a third person. But Jonathan won't say that. Jonathan will do this. And also afterwards, I realized it, and I was like, that's actually a bit freaky. It's a bit like you have a separate personality, like a bit of a what's that movie of that guy with the 11 personalities?
Yes.
Animal Split. Yeah, that bad boy. It's kind of something like that.
Because when you went with us to Vegas, one of the best trips ever, by the way.
Yeah.
And it was also quite conflicting because with the injury I had before the fight, it was like, we were laughing so much, but it's also so sore the whole time. It sucked. It was terrible.
Wow.
But even there, we were in that usual at the Palms Hotel there where we had breakfast every morning. And then you talk about Jonathan. It's like, Oh, yes, Jonathan.
Yeah. It's weird. It is a weird thing, but I mean, you guys are probably the best who can relate with that.
Yeah.
In terms of turning into this animal and doing what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Well, the one personality I'm a massive fan of is cooking Rikus.
Yeah.
Because you make some of the best food I've ever had. I don't know.
bud, thank you.
It's scary, and it's
Yeah.
stuff like you always have.
Yeah.
It's just I can't remember what dish. I think it's like a potato dish you made
Yeah,
there at your house,
yeah.
and everything just worked so well.
Yeah.
And I
Look-
actually have a gift for you
Wow.
because of that. And just excuse the rapping.
No, but I don't
dat is
mind
nie 'n
at all.
sponsor nie.
No,
So-
fantastic.
So a guy once told me the Japanese are good at two things: being friendly and forging steel. So,
Okay. Wow.
And
Wow.
yeah, I
bud.
just thought,
This is, and I whenever I can have a knife or anything, I have like too many just sitting there, and I have like full sharpness. So
that's sick.
this is incredible.
Yeah.
Thank you, bud. I'm
So
definitely gonna.
if you
use
are
this.
very hungry, you can use them by yourself as well.
I
But
dig it. Thank
yeah.
you so much. This is so cool.
No,
I
it's awesome.
appreciate it. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird thing. All of my mates, some people go into like a crisis mode and they put hair in or whatever at my age when we touching 40. I all of a sudden started liking cooking.
Okay.
It's just a weird thing. And I like the low and slow stuff. I like doing it, challenging it a bit in terms of the pizza ovens and going for like the briskets, the long range briskets and
Okay.
pork buds and all of that stuff. So, or butts, as they call
So
it.
you have patience doing
No, I have
stuff.
no patience.
Okay.
I'm a guy. I don't have a lot of patience, but I guess. But I like. It's almost like a trust exercise.
Okay.
You do what you can, and you put in a lot of effort, and it's all about quality of product and
Yes.
quality of and giving it time.
Yeah.
Putting in the love and just let it be and give it
Just
time. Kind of like a metaphor for a lot of things. Trust
Yeah.
the process. And it does sometimes happen when you open it and it's like, what the fuck is that? Look at this shit. It's been 17 hours and the thing is raw or it's
Yes.
still, tough or whatever. And you try again.
I remember making a pork belly once.
Yeah.
And you have the recipe and it's like, okay, how hard can it be? It's slow roasted for very long, whatever. But the probably the most key ingredient I did not put in because I was in just starting camp
Yeah.
is
yeah.
the cider that you
Yeah,
have to
You have to.
braise it in.
Yeah.
The driest tire I've ever had. It was, I was so pissed because after 4 hours of slow roasting, it
Yeah.
was just terrible.
Yeah, it needs a
So-
bit of moisture.
Yeah, it needs.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I know that now. I've never tried that again. I would much rather just go buy it somewhere. So-
No, it's a difficult one, but again, if you the process again, leave it.
Yeah.
Just let it boil there slowly, and then you can roast it and give
Yes.
it color.
That's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
But even now, obviously, people expect you to make kind of decent food with Hennies. It's
Yeah.
Because
and
if-
that's a weird thing because food wise, prep wise, I'm a home cook.
Yes.
I'm not at all a restaurateur chef type of guy at all.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. The only thing I did with Hennies was I had this brilliant idea of a brand.
Yeah.
And I knew what 80% of the food is I order and
Yes.
my mates order when we go to a pub or a sports bar or whatever. And I just said, well, let's stick to what works.
Okay.
Don't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
Rather create something new in terms of a vibe or
Yes.
or X factor.
Okay.
So, and that's what I get. I get other people in to do that type
Yeah.
of stuff
Well,
because it's technical. It's costings. It's
it's-
by the gram,
It
and
is
you
very-
can't just in this type of model, go overboard or whatever because your costings are going to flip out and you're going to lose money.
100%. And I think like the vibes are always high at a Hennies.
Yeah.
Even when we watch like the soccer, we know you call it football, but
Yeah.
soccer World Cup.
Yeah,
We were in George.
Yeah.
And it was insane. It was
Yeah.
so sick to be there. We've also been at that Hennies while we thought the box were gonna play.
yeah,
Had jerseys,
whole
lacquer.
lot.
It was so full.
Yeah.
And then they were playing highlights and
Yeah.
keep on playing highlights. And listen, when's
Yeah.
the game starting?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
It's like, oh no, it's next weekend. Okay. So it's amazing to see how quickly you've built this brand as well. Because on how many franchises are you at this stage?
There's still a lot that's being built, but I think we're just over 20 now. I
That's-
think there's 18 or 19. This weekend, Witbank will be opening.
Okay.
So I think we're about at 19 now open,
Yes.
and about 24 in total that's still in process of going through all of the stuff. And it's now been almost 3 years, so it's been a ride.
It's insane.
I haven't even been, and it because of my schedule as well. I haven't even been to like the George one yet.
Yes.
I haven't even been to the Bloom one yet.
Yeah.
It's because you're busy every week and every day, and you don't want to just go like on a Monday or whatever. You want to see it in its
Yeah.
glory. So
So
it's been surreal.
will we get to see a Hennies tour one of these days?
We are going to do something like that. We have like a specific patch now that we do for every store,
Okay, cool.
so that you can collect and
That
like,
is sick.
patch everyone, and it has the coordinates on
That's
and
sick.
a bit of a logo.
The Crusaders gang is licking their mouths right now.
They're more than welcome.
Yeah.
Do the trip. Sleep over.
Yeah,
Sleep over.
Sleep
But,
over. Yeah.
But yeah, go and collect them all. It's gonna be insane.
Yeah, but if you're driving on two wheels, is it really driving? So it's
Well,
fine.
Look, if that's one particular sport I've never. Actually, when I was now in Paris, I went in one of. Fuck, that sounds like I can't believe I just uttered that word in my life. Coming from Clarksdorp, Klatschdorp, saying the words that one time when I was now in Paris.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
was in
what the
Paris.
fuck happened to me? I'm gonna have to roll in the mud after
Where are
this.
you going next?
Paris.
First class.
Shit, that sounded weird. But anyway, when we were there now, we went on this we went on the segways. That's that thing that you just like, and
The mall cop.
But
Full blood.
I'm fucking getting one.
Yeah.
That thing changed my life. We went through the whole of Paris. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
We drove around with the thing, and like the most people have laughed at me in the last week, I think, was the first 10 minutes of me on that thing. Because you have to remember, we went with SAB, and
Yeah.
the guys from SAB and the people that went with on this trip, they're busy.
Yes.
And it's a lot of fun. And when we stop at every place where we stop and there's a quick lunch or whatever, you just hear like a murmuring birkies.
Yeah.
And the
Hydration was key.
hydration was clean.
Yeah.
So it's the day of the game, and there's this quick morning activity. We're gonna go on the Segway through. So now I'm a bit jittery. I'm not feeling 100%.
From
And
the
now-
night before.
From the night before,
Oh, yeah.
like I said, the atmosphere was present.
Yeah.
And now I have to get on this thing, and I'm like, but if I fall now, I'm literally gonna die. So
Yeah.
the lady that took the tour, she was like, but so the first 10 minutes I was like, and when you're a bit hungover,
Yeah.
we call it, the Afrikaans word for it is the horries.
Yes.
The best way to explain that in English is it's when the black dog is chasing you,
Yeah.
and you wake up and you're like, where's my phone? And you go check if your car has scratches on them, and if it's
Why
still
am I
there.
bleeding?
Yeah, what is this? Where's the worst is when you go through your SMSs and you're like, I swiped how much, when, where? It's like 4 o'clock. When were we there? And so I had that feeling.
I ordered all the soundproofing while being drunk.
But
Yeah.
that's okay.
That's your
Yeah.
the notification the morning after was terrible. It's like, how much did I spend on
For what?
soundproofing?
Yeah.
What?
And then because you just see that code and you're like,
Yeah.
what is this? and so the lady was like, but if you're a bit scared, you can just right behind me. And I'm like, listen, I have no ego now. I just don't want to fall and hurt, because then I'll physically look at suicide as an option with the mental state I'm in. So I have no fucking ego.
Yeah.
I'll drive right behind you, and
Perfect.
trust me.
Yeah.
But that's such a cool thing. So when I think about 2 wheels, all the other 2 wheels I fall off.
Yeah.
I'm getting me one. I already hooked up with the guys in SA. I'm getting one. It's crazy, incredible.
My parents moved to George recently, and
Yeah.
my stepdad, my mother, and my brother went to some fancy. I don't know if it's fan court or one of those fancy estates, but you can rent those Segway
Yeah.
things over there. You can drive it for like an hour. You can go through like the golf course and
Yes.
everything. It's very nice. And called my brother. No, how was your weekend? No, great. His biggest motivation is just to make enough money to buy one of those things.
But
it's like
It's a life changer.
So,
I promise you. And in the beginning, I was like, you know what? This is bullshit. I mean,
Yeah.
how because I was like, where's the clutch? You know, how does this thing work? Am I going to break it? Where's the brake?
Yes.
And it's just about the momentum thing. And like I said, don't do it when you're hungover or take your time. But once you get going, man, it's incredible. It's
Branding
addictive.
it in blue, putting Hennie's logos on there.
Not yet. I think
Rims,
I'll
lekker rims.
look out if I can get a couple of spinners
Yeah.
and maybe get like a blue light, down on the road.
Yeah.
Getting it proper pinned. It's maybe just two exhaust that does nothing.
Yeah.
Just there for the look. Yeah.
And when you press a button, it like has a speaker in it.
Like a JBL with a V6 sound or whatever. That'll be great.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like when we're making championship money, golf carts. But have you seen John Daly's golf carts? It's like it's shaped in like a hog.
Yeah.
And it has like horns and it's like it's a 6-seater.
Wow.
It has like a roof. It has a bar, like a pop-up bar.
You don't get those anymore.
It's brilliant. It's absolutely amazing.
I would love something like that. Yeah.
So that's definitely something to work towards.
Yeah.
So.
big list. First thing, everybody's like, Ferrari, you like golf cart.
Yeah.
6-seat golf cart with a bar. I mean, come on. Everybody can have a Ferrari.
Nitros.
Yeah. It works. Bull bar. Let's go. What are those blue balls at the back?
Yeah.
Hanging.
100%.
But you'll kill it.
With the popularity and obviously the focus on Hennies, it's probably so hard to shift your focus between comedy business and then everything that's revolved around that. How do you manage?
Look, the thing is with I love business. I love business, but everything actually for me has the same philosophy. I try with anything. Everybody when they're young and you ask someone, what do you want to do with your life? You get people that say, I want to be a doctor, I want to do this, I want to do that. And then you get a lot of people that say, I want to have my own business. And then you ask them, okay, cool, what? And then there's silence. And they said, I'm not sure, I'll see. And all of the businesses I have or started, including comedy, was scratching an itch, my own itch.
Yeah.
When I started with comedy, I was a depressed guy. I didn't know what was my purpose in life. All I knew when I was happiest when I was standing around the fire with a couple of my mates and making them laugh.
Yeah.
And I felt I have a purpose. But when I started back in 2013, with the cast, my first stand-up was 2014. So next year will be my 10th year. I started and there wasn't any platform. There wasn't any, if you weren't in drama or you weren't an English comedian that does 5 or 6 minutes at openings at a club, there was no way, there was no avenue for you to get in. And technology changed that for me with WhatsApp. So I started off with just more as for my mates, as entertainment, doing this skit or this voice notes about this character, and then it started getting weird where people were like, listen, have you heard this? And I was like, that's me. And they're like, bullshit, sure, buddy. Whatever, and that's kind of where it started. But that was for me personally on the comedy side. With all the other businesses, it all started with your own itch, scratching your own itch. Stuff in life that you see or feel where you see, there must be an easier way. Or why don't we? Or just plainly the words imagine. That's how Hennie started.
Yes.
I was like, imagine there was a spot or a place where you have these rules or where you had to do this, and people are like, wow, that'll be cool, but it will never work because it's so unconventional. And I think that's a place to start. So finding the idea or finding a purpose and a reason for it, I think is one thing. And then another thing that I learned is get the right people and let your ego go and employ them and trust them.
Yes.
And let them do it, because you can't be a master of everything. You have to stay in your lane. You can have a say or an opinion, but there will always be people in a business, that you need to get in your team, and you need to trust and listen to. It's like with yourself, you have to listen to your coach. You have to listen to all of this. Although you are the guy, the fighter, I'm not going to go and preach to the franchisees or try and be clever about certain items on the menu or whatever. I'll have a say that if it relates to my market.
Yes.
But I'll stay in my lane. I'll stick to the marketing side. I'll stick to building brands. And at the end of the day, for me, it's about escapism. That's my product that I sell.
Yeah.
So whether it's on the stage, whether it's here with you, if someone has a bit of escapism where he can let go of his issues, block out all of the cuck bothering him and all of that stuff, and now he's recharging a bit.
Yeah.
For me, that is what I sell essentially.
Yeah. It's insane because that escapism happened like in double science class, watching your videos of like how to catch fish, and probably not the best timing.
Not the best timing,
yeah, because like five detentions later, it's like totally fucking worth it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
But where did you, especially with a comedy, where did you feel, because you were very well known. I didn't even know about the voice notes, but the initial, that's where I got to know you, is through the videos, the fishing, all the introductory stuff to these sports or activities.
Yes.
Where did you feel, okay, it's really getting weirdly a lot of momentum?
Yeah. Again, a lot of people corner me, and I get a lot of inboxes and emails of people that also want to go in the entertainment industry and whatever, and they start getting a bit of traction online or something, and then they come to me and they say, okay, but how do I monetize this?
Yes.
And you're thinking the wrong way. You want to make money before you have a brand.
Yes.
Build a brand first. The money will come automatically. So for me, it was, I knew I was providing people with escapism, and that was my focus. It's you can also, again, you can relate to sport, Focus on your job, focus on doing that right, and the results will come automatically. So for me, it was just like, what's cool, what's going to be funny, and am I going to be true to myself? I'm not going to lend out my ears to critics that I don't trust, especially because everybody's going to have an opinion.
Yeah.
But if the masses appreciate what you're doing and they're having a good time, you're on the right track, and stick to it, and stick to your guns. Don't reinvent the wheel. You know, if this is working and people want more, and it's contributing towards their lives in what manner ever, there will be a time where a certain portion of your product or content or whatever you do can be monetized. So for me, it was just a question of build the brand, trust the process, and then later on, when I started doing stand-up, because I had such a well-known base.
Yes.
And I said, okay, guys, so now I'm going live. Everybody was like, what are you gonna do your skits live? What are you gonna do? So that was a bit of a weird transition for people.
Probably also piqued a lot of interest, because it's
a
like,
lot.
okay,
it's like, what are you gonna do?
What I'll buy a ticket just to check how big of a screw up this
Exactly.
is gonna be.
Yeah. and that's what people actually saw, like, okay, cool. So this is actually thought out.
Yeah.
That's not a real, because a lot of people in the beginning, I was walking like in Pretoria and like this, and people were, we were at the bar or whatever, and people were like, aren't you the freaking guy with the green hat? I'm like, yeah, lekker, Rikus, how are you?
Yeah.
And they're like, but I thought your name's Jonathan.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, yes and no.
Yes.
I have a real name.
Yeah.
And they're like, but what are you doing here? I thought you live in the East Rand.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, Jonathan lives. It's. They literally think it was, this guy's real.
Yeah.
And it's a real. And I took it as a compliment, because that was what I wanted to achieve. But he's just a guy without a filter, telling the truth.
Yes.
You can be upset with how he tells it, but you can't be upset with what he's saying, because it's the truth. And it is a bit of a. It is a bit of a trust process as well, and it was experimental. Like I said, now looking back, people will be like, "Oh, it's easy. You had social media and you do this, and this must be simple." We didn't have Instagram.
Yes.
I had no model to follow. There was no reference.
Yeah.
Everybody that was comedians went to drama school, or they did one nights, and after 2 years or whatever, they have enough material to do an hour or whatever, and then they start doing specials.
Yeah.
I had my first show in 2014 February. Epic fucking fail.
Okay.
Epic fail.
Like most people's first show ever.
But epic fail.
Yeah.
It was there in Impala on Potch.
Okay.
I think I went on stage at 11. I was still a heavy brandy drinker.
Yes.
And I didn't know what to do. I had no idea what to say. I couldn't do my skits. So, because how do you do a skit live? It's you can try and do a bit of content, but it's 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I said, I'll trust myself. I got drunk as fuck. And I was like 10, 12 minutes into it, I had nothing more to say.
So,
And I was
okay.
like, this is going to be interesting. And I was just,
Yeah.
luckily it was students. I was like, right, down or fuck off. And we just started downing, downing drinks.
Yeah.
And I said, let's take a break. DJ, take it away. And I went to the guy. I was like, I have nothing else, but
Yeah.
I'll give you your money back or whatever. He's like, I don't care. You sold out the place. It's fine.
It's
Have
fine.
a Joel.
Yeah. And
And
everyone just finished their round. They're going to
everybody
have
was
to
like-
buy another one.
It was
so.
in Paul, so start the socky music.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, go whatever. So, and then I was like, I don't think I can do this. This is
Yeah.
not as easy as I thought. And John Henry Opperman, he's a great guy from Klopjag, the band.
Mm.
He said to me, stop, just be yourself. Just tell the stories that you do normally around the fire, you know, with your mates.
Yeah.
Stop making jokes, tell stories.
Yeah.
And I thought about it. I was like, cool. And that was end of February. And September, I shot my first DVD ever, Live 101. So I had
Yes.
6 months to sort out my shit quick.
Yeah.
And in 6 months, I managed to get the special on. And it was, I think it was the best seller on box office
Yeah.
that first year. So
It's insane.
yeah. And then I started getting into a rhythm. And then I was done. I was like, fuck yeah. And then I was like, oh shit, now I have to write a new one.
Yeah.
And what am I going to say? And what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And
Straight after you're like, okay, it was great, but okay, we have a year to do another one.
the problem
So-
with me is what happens was because it went so well in the beginning, you do a show and you do one night, it's sold out.
Mm.
And the next weekend, you're booked for your next show.
Yeah.
So while you're still showing, you're writing your second show, you're memorizing it and training it, and you have a week and it has to fire because the next show is sold out. That's fucking pressure.
Yes.
And
that's
you
insane.
can't, I mean, you can't test it. How do you
Yes.
test it?
Yeah.
We don't have the infrastructure like America or other places where you can quickly try 5 minutes here, 6 minutes here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're not that lucky.
Yeah.
We have, especially in the Afrikaans market.
Yeah.
If you
Because there's not a lot of comedy clubs.
there's no Afrikaans comedy clubs
Yeah.
I know of.
Okay.
I mean, the market's just too small.
Yeah.
So I have to go to I'm reliant on the casinos, and
Yeah.
then we get the nice big venues. And also now I'm limited with my time. You know, I have a couple of businesses, so
yeah.
I don't have time to practice. And
Yeah.
you know, I'm only starting with my new tour next year, July, because
Okay.
I have so many stuff that's running up to this. Also content projects as well.
Yeah.
But time is a bit of an issue. We're not like the Americans where they have writers writing for them and,
Yes.
and a whole
'Cause
team
it
just
is
managing
also-
them.
Yeah, they can easily squeeze in, you know, four cities within 2 weeks.
Sure,
They-
jump on your own private jet. Let's
Yeah,
roll.
yeah.
You know? It's tough. But it's fun. I'm not complaining at all.
It
I can't wait to
looks-
get back on stage.
Yeah, it looks like the most fun industry to be in.
Yeah.
To be honest, like, looking at more at the American market, just
Yeah.
seeing how they do their tours, I'm a massive comedy fan.
Yeah.
Like we talked about it in Vegas as well. It's
Yeah.
like, where did you watch a comedy special, or was there someone that you tried to emulate in the beginning of your career?
No, I looked at it. There's a lot of techniques you can steal
Yeah.
or borrow. That's universal.
Yeah.
That's stuff that I had no drama background. So in the beginning, I was just standing at one place, and then I started realizing, you know, shifting momentum, walking around,
Mm.
when you're moving in between jokes, setting up something, timing, when you take a sip of water to set something up,
Yeah.
and the only way to learn that stuff is to be again, it's a reference to fighting, is to get down and compete.
Yeah.
And you learn on the go, you learn on your feet, and you learn in the heat of the moment.
Mm.
It's difficult as well crowd wise, because once you, especially when you're a beginner, in America they love you. You can have the cuckest, most horrific show ever, tour for that specific year, and your
Yeah.
fans will, as you walk out, scream and yell your name
Yeah.
in an arena, and you're done.
Yeah.
The Afrikaans people are different.
Yeah.
When you walk in, especially when I started, you see that with me. He sits there, he
Yes.
sits like this. Right.
Yeah.
Make me laugh.
Yeah.
Dance monkey.
Yeah.
And then you have to, and and you see people around him laugh. In the beginning, you'll be like, and to win that guy over slowly but surely until he starts. And they were actually the guys afterwards that were like, listen, I didn't see this coming, and I didn't think this was gonna hit this way,
Yeah.
but I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And that was difficult in the beginning to get the conservative Afrikaans guy. That Afrikaans people, when Casper, I think I loved him growing up, and when he said "fuck" on stage,
Yes.
and all the tannies were like, "Oh no!" you
And
know, this is
headlines. Yeah.
big.
Yeah.
and I just said I'm going to be true. You know, it is what it is. I'm not gonna step too far over the boundary, because I think you get different styles. You'll see it in America as well. They call it shock comedy, where a guy
Yes.
was just be like as brutal and as raw and
Yeah.
sometimes a bit dark as possible.
Yeah.
And then you laugh, but it's not a laugh like haha. It's a laugh
It's
like,
like-
oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
The admin afterwards.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah.
ooh, you
Yeah.
know, and it's a technique. There's a lot of styles, you know. A lot of
Mm.
people just go for politics, but that I don't like at all. I think it's, especially in South Africa. I mean, you can read the news a bit funny,
Yes.
and it'll be hilarious.
Yeah.
It,
Or you
it's-
can just watch the news.
can-
And that's
Yeah, exactly.
That's enough comedy in itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't like the political stuff at all. But yeah, it's quite it was a difficult journey, but a hell of a ride.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
insane. It's great because, like with the dark humor, I can immediately have like a face like Anthony Jeselnik.
Yeah, yeah.
Like immediately dark humor is like he
Yeah.
says stuff, and I was like, how did that get
Yeah,
cleared by
that's-
any
yeah.
network?
Exactly.
And yeah, but a lot of people say stuff for shock value, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
very hard to navigate that. And
Yeah.
also, Afrikaans people are brutally honest. Like if they
Absolutely.
paid money, petrol is expensive in South
Sure.
Africa. Now they drove all the way to the casino,
Mm,
fought with their wife on the way there. It's
mm.
hard to
It's-
win that.
It's a tough
audience.
crowd.
Yeah.
It's a tough crowd. But once you have them, they are the most loyal people. You're always going to have that one. I must say, social media wise, especially, but I mean, you'll find that as well, that
Mm.
depending on the social media avenue and channel,
Yeah,
it's total different crowds.
100%.
Like the
yeah.
Instagram crowd is a lot more positive,
Yes.
and TikTok is a fucking weird place. I don't know what's going on there. Twitter,
yeah.
Twitter, everybody thinks they're intelligent
Yeah.
philosopher, and they just want to. They are so fucking clever.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and meanwhile, if you look at you meet the person, you know, face to face, you're like, fuck, is this you,
Yeah.
brother? And you, this big keyboard warrior. What the fuck is this? What are you doing?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they'll shit themselves. So classic. So Facebook again is for me that very moan factory negativity thing. Not my channel specifically,
But
but
in general,
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite groups on Facebook is Akker's Funny Worster.
But my bro,
It's
I love it.
It's amazing.
It's crying and
The
fucking
whole
moaning.
time, but some of the replies are just absolute
Beauties.
It's gold, you know.
Beauties.
So it's great. There's a handful of people. It's like following, you know, kids getting hurt on Instagram. It's just it's negative outcomes, but it just brings so much joy to my day to day.
Look, you have to laugh at stuff, and
Yeah.
especially, you know, being South African.
Yeah.
If you're gonna take, it's a form of escapism. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, we've seen it. There's something horrible happens,
Mm.
and everybody's like, "Yeah, have you heard?" And you hear the phone going off, and you see a group, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Fuck, it's coming."
Yeah, here it
And
goes.
you open that meme, and you're like, "You're going to hell."
Yeah, yeah.
And I can't stop laughing.
But I must say, most South Africans are like that.
Yeah.
I think it's
The cool ones.
It's so the cool
Yeah.
ones. It is scary to see. You'll be in a restaurant, the power goes off, and no one is shocked anymore.
No.
Like,
In fact, they
absolutely-
cheer. It's like,
Hey,
"Hey,
lekker,
love you, South
lekker,
Africa."
Dine and dash,
Yeah.
quickly.
yeah. You just hear everybody go. Crazy else. Let's go. Fuck off. Just remember the kid.
Yeah. You sleeping underneath the
Yeah.
table.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, sorry. With the comedy, you see it as well. It's weird. Like New York has their own band.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Los Angeles. And when you were coming up in South African comedy,
Mm.
were they also like these type of
Definitely.
cliques?
There's different crowds.
Yeah.
The platteland, you know, the rural areas where the
Yeah.
farming community, they were a bit more like, right, come, let's see what you have.
Yeah.
You know, you can see it's the Oom and his wife, and the children told him, listen, come check this guy out.
Yeah.
He's not tech savvy. He's seen a couple of stuff on WhatsApp, but he was
Yeah.
like, sure, praat lelik. And I was sitting there, and they were like, come, dance monkey, let me see what this
Yeah.
guy's going to talk about. I'm not going to laugh at anything. They were like that. I must say the coastal regions, you know,
Yeah.
PE, the Cape, you know, Cape Town. I did 2 or 3 times. I think I sold out Ground West.
Yeah.
They were a jewel. I must say that they bought in because they're much more relaxed. They're much more, I think, a little bit more liberal in terms of knowing what they are what they bought and what they can expect.
Yeah.
For me, it was actually the East Rand. That's also I must certain those oaks are fucking beautiful.
Yeah, they just want to
They're
have
there for a
fun.
good time,
Yeah.
and they sit there and they, I get like messages for like 4 weeks out. And they say, I can't wait for your show. I'm warming up, bro. And if you want, you can
You're
come
already.
Listen afterwards. If you want to pop in for a brandy and cook at my house, I have a little bit of another place that's incredible, Namibia.
Oh,
The
yes.
people from Namibia, from Nam, they are. That is a special. I love them. They're so warm-hearted.
I just think there's something is happening here in our town. It's like
it's like they're like you have to come. And they are like, and they're not afraid of driving like 4 hours.
Yeah, that's insane.
They like after the show, I always meet and greet if I can.
Yeah.
If they, unless I have to go like immediately to miss a flight or whatever, I always like to meet and greet people. And then you get this oak, and he's like, "What time are you flying?" And I'm like, "No, tomorrow red eye." It's like, "Okay, so you have to fly at 6. It's now 11. So if we go now, we can have a bit of ribs. We can have a choppy and a bit of lamb ribs, and I'll drop you off at the airport." So I'm like, "Okay, but how far is the farm?" "No, it's just here, 2.5 hours. It's just here." I'm like, "Fuck with me." So we'll have a couple of Jaegers on the road. We'll have a lekker braai and we'll drop you off, and you can maybe even shoot a sable or something if you want. I'm like, "Fucking hell, I would love that. If you told me this like 2 weeks before, I'll change my flight." They're so warm-hearted. I love them. But South Africa is a place. Once they, again, in every society, you get what we call the lekker guys.
Yeah.
And then you get people who are just born fucking miserable, and they are so negative towards anything, and anything that's positive, or anyone that tries to contribute, they have to look up and down and try and find and just focus on one little tiny piece of negativity.
Yeah.
And that's why my motto in life is the rule number 1 rule. And I use it in business. I use it in my shops.
It's literally in every single restaurant, every Hennies.
Yeah. Rule number 1 is don't be a doers.
Yeah.
And for the English people, it's the C word.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I must say we live our country as a whole. The majority, especially now, they know what to expect.
Yeah.
And the shows are very, very positive. And have a Joel.
That's awesome. But the plan, obviously, you're coming up to 10 years of comedy, and with the amazing success of Hennies, I just, do you have anything planned for next year?
A lot.
Okay.
Yeah, we're starting a couple of new concepts within the restaurant umbrella. A couple of more higher end stuff. A couple of hole in the wall type of stuff. It's a bit more quick turnaround.
Yeah.
There's a cool app business too, actually, that we're busy with. There's a bit of development in the Western Cape in terms of properties. I'm very busy, and that's why by June, July, I'm starting a tour. Yeah. I'm not going to say the name yet of the show, but it's the basics is there.
Okay.
And seeing that I'm so busy, it's going to be special because it's 10 years and I'm only going to do 10 shows.
Okay.
So
awesome.
we're gonna do all of the big stadiums and arenas, but 10 and then 1 or 2, and then 1 in Namibia, a couple overseas, and that's it for the year.
That's insane.
So it's something special.
We had Albie Galdenhuis,
the
founder and CEO of USA, and we had him on the podcast, and he said like he uses motocross as his escape.
Yes.
You know, he's also so busy building a massive brand.
Yeah.
Do you have anything like that? Do you have an escape?
I do. I like spending time with friends.
Yeah.
I like talking to guys who knew me from whenever, and my worst critiques, actually, or my best critiques. But in terms of chirp wise, they keep you humble.
Yeah.
If people see our groups, they will be like, "Yeah, you guys are cruel, and why do you hate each other?"
Yeah, straight to jail.
And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? You are sadists. What are you? And so I love spending time, and I'm very privileged to have a huge amount of good friends and good people in my life. I love nature a lot.
Yeah.
I'm a cuck golfer. I can't even pick up a club. I don't know, but I'm a great driver.
Yeah, great driver. And great bars. Do you want something? Want something? Must I mix something for you?
I'll do that. I'll support and all of that. And I'll be the fine master afterwards. Sorry, France is still in my throat. Sorry bro, ek het hierdie.
Yeah, no worries. It's gonna tight. Yeah. Yeah.
Jo,
Good.
tack my. We'll see. Let's see.
We're back.
We're back.
Sorry, guys. He's just planning his next overseas trip. First class.
Paris.
I was in Paris
Yeah.
the other day.
That was like when I was in Paris.
Yeah.
I can't believe I fucking said that. That is so not me.
I'm sending that to whatever friends group you have. It's like, attack him.
I'll be like, oh, there we go. Whatever.
Now, just chatting a little bit, because you guys were there for the Rugby World Cup.
Yeah.
You went to go watch South Africa play Ireland. You
Yes.
guys also have a show called Chat to Bietjie Ball,
Yes,
which is so sick. How was the experience? Because you touched on it quickly, but it's just that must be like a bucket list thing for you to be able to travel to go watch the Springboks.
It
do what
was
they do.
it was literally a bucket list thing.
Yeah.
It was the atmosphere. The test was incredible.
Yeah.
Obviously, the result was not what we wanted.
Yeah.
But to experience that, and one thing the Irish people are lacquer people.
Yeah.
They're our tribe.
Yeah.
We were a big group of about 150 South Africans very close to the field.
Okay.
And right next to us was a similar, much larger Irish couple of guys. And during the game, it was like there was a lot of go fuck yourselves and fuck off and all of that shit going around. But after the game, everybody walked with a beer, and even if you had a full beer, we exchanged beers. And they had a handshake, and then I don't know if you saw the highlights, but they played Zombie in the stadium.
I saw
and we were literally like, and we both looked at each other, and it was like a common denominator. We all said, unlucky, but we're definitely going to see you in the final.
Yeah.
And we were like hanging on and singing Zombie. It was insane.
That's insane. Because I think in the first 3.5 minutes of the game itself, it's like the stands are going to be busy. Like because I didn't see a lot of security as well. It's like,
no, they were there, but they were a bit outnumbered.
Oh shit! I was like, ooh, the green are gonna attack the green, so it's a north-south derby. It was amazing. Do you have any other trips, like bucket list trips, that you would like to do in the near future?
I think the biggest one I had was with you guys when I went to Vegas. And I think the next bucket list will be when either you or Rikus lift the belt, you know? Which I think in circumstances, I think Rikus will be next. So no doubt in my mind whatsoever. And I think that's my next bucket list.
That's awesome.
I've had the experience of being through the camp and everything now, and being roommates with the guy. And I'm huge fans of you both for 2 weeks and seeing what you guys go through. It was an incredible experience. It was the coolest trip of my life ever.
That's awesome
to be part of that and to see how the dynamics and the mental toughness and to I want to go again. I'm definitely going again. And we're just waiting for dates.
You have
and
to.
Then and sit in the stand and see you guys lift it. So that's the next one.
That's awesome. That's great. You do like the Bait and Beskryd episodes, like with the fishing, the hunting. Do you have anything planned for the rest of the year or for next year, or not really?
Next year again, I want to do Angola. I want to do it again.
Okay, cool.
The one we went, I want to go again, definitely. I think Albie actually told me about a trip he did in the what is that place in north of Madagascar, North Mozambique, between Mozambique and Madagascar, that island.
No, it's not Polynesian islands.
But they go with the yacht or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
And catch from there.
Portuguese islands.
No. It's a bit
more north.
It's more to Madagascar side, north of Madagascar.
Yeah.
And he actually WhatsApped me now and said, "Look, bud, there's a trip in April. Do you want to go?"
That's sick.
So, but I'll just check. It probably clash with the Angola one.
Okay.
But that's one, and then I want to go on a buffalo hunt next year.
Oh, awesome.
I wanna do a buffalo hunt as well.
Yeah, that's a big bucket list
big
one.
And I've had opportunities before, but I wasn't quite right because I've been on a buffalo hunt before.
Yeah.
And I've seen it, but it's a big fucking piece of meat. There.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what you're doing and you're not confident and you don't own that shot, you're in deep shit.
That's applying patties to most of the Hennies in South Africa. Like,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's going to be a buffalo special. Well, not on the right hand. But,
Yeah.
but I'm looking forward to that.
That's
as well.
awesome.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for your time. Thank you for taking time out of your very busy schedule.
Nah, thanks, buddy.
It's going to be super exciting to see what you come up with next, because everything you do is so fun. It's so innovative, and thank you for keeping South Africans positive as well, especially those Kwai Afrikaans wins. Like, it's great to see that effect.
I'll try my best.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to go check out everything they have going on, which is a lot, it will be in the description below. All these socials, Hennies, what else? Chat the Bietjie Ball.
Everything's there, RadioRaps. And
he's going to be sending me a long list of stuff via WhatsApp. So yeah, thank you guys so much. Awesome.
Thanks, bro.
Thanks. So volgende trip, Parijs.